What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, we're here again to talk about prices going up, which has been a pretty common theme recently. Well, still, yesterday, the prices went up so much in a press release for a certain platform that it was shocking. I mean, sticker shock all across the internet. And once again, leaving people to wonder, what exactly does the future look like for a gaming industry that might actually legitimately price itself out for many different gamers, and we'll go over all of that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Nintendo making a pretty big change as they head towards the Switch 2 generation, specifically for the eShop, and we'll also be talking about Amazon Prime Gaming, which had a bunch of games get announced for the month of May, and technically if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to want to take a look at this because these will be available for you, with many of them being DRM free. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps that a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button or the link in the description down below. And we're going to start today with Nintendo Switch Online, and their GameCube controller that they'll have available ahead of the Switch 2 launch, and then I guess start shipping out right around that time or before, and you get it on launch day. I'm still not really sure how exactly that's going to work out, but I'm certainly interested in one, so I've been keeping an eye out for when exactly pre-orders will be available. They're coming specifically from Nintendo. You will need, of course, a Nintendo Switch Online account to order, which kind of makes sense considering it ties in with NSO, but still, I did notice, as well as many others, at the bottom of the page you can see, they do have this listed from May 8th, 2025 to May 12th, 2025. They'll have limited to Switch 2 early purchase access invitation recipients, that being for their website. But I think for the majority of people right now, maybe who have a pre-order and are just looking for the controller, that'll be starting May 13th, 2025, okay? So just wanted to put that out there for anyone who was interested. Keep that date in mind, May 13th minimum, okay? Limit one purchase per Nintendo account, of course, so they can stop people from trying to load up on these things and then resell it. Either way, I'm going to be looking to get one of those so that we can do a teardown and just an overall comparison, even to the original GameCube controller here, and see how one-to-one it really is. Also, a heads up for GameFly members, as well, we've talked about pricing's going up, which we can see this over on their website. Now, they do mention that prices here are effective April 30th, 2025 for new and returning accounts. Active members who join GameFly prior to April 30th will have these prices reflected on their July 2025 billing statement. So if you've been a long-running customer in general or just signed up even a few months ago, these won't be reflected until midway through the summer here in July. Still, though, you can see some of the price here, and they have many different tiers. I mean, they even have one for, if you don't mind, a budget plan that you'll rent out certain titles that are over 30 days old, right? That starts at like $13 plus tax per month. And GameFly has been at least a good service for people who are, of course, trying to be able to play different games without spending $70 or $80, but still, you see those prices, and even that's getting kind of expensive. But the thing with GameFly is they are completely at the mercy of the gaming industry based on what prices of games are, because if prices go from 60 to 70 and then 70 to 80, it just becomes more and more expensive for them to maintain their inventory because they have to buy a bunch of games to then rent out or ship out to people. So it makes sense their prices would go up as the gaming prices go to 80, which we'll be talking about that in a minute. Oh, and we do have some more Hollow Knight Silksong news here. This over on IGN, where they say they can reveal the Hollow Knight Silksong will be playable in an Australian museum in September 2025. What? Silksong will be playable at the Melbourne Museum as part of a video game exhibit called Game Worlds, which will also include displays that delve into the game's design and artistic. Okay, hold on a minute. This game needs to be out by then, right? I mean, come on. We're gonna go all the way until September 2025 and like that's the first time we're gonna play. No, this game, I have to imagine over the summer at some point, all these gaming events happening, it's gotta show up. Although we've been saying that for years now, but come on. This has to be it, right? Otherwise, hey, look, there you go. You can travel out to Australia in September and get first hands-on with it. But hopefully we'll be playing it by then. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Microsoft, massively raising prices just out of nowhere, basically, for the Xbox brand. I say the Xbox brand because it's just about everything that's gotten more expensive. There is one part that hasn't, and I'm going to say hasn't yet, but we'll get to that at the end. First, though, let's take a look at the new pricing here for their Xbox consoles. And yeah, you can see right at the bottom, the one that really jumps out, obviously, $730 for the Xbox Series X 2TB Galaxy Black Special Edition. That is a jump of $130 where it was $600. Going from there, though, you see the Xbox Series X digital at $550. That was $450. The Xbox Series X at $600. That was $500. So you can kind of see, I mean, we have significant jumps in terms of pricing of $100 or more for these systems here. The Xbox Series S 1TB at $430. That was $350. The Xbox Series S 512GB model at $380. That's a price jump of $80. Now, I do know we've seen, of course, the Series S for a while there with different sales down to like $250 at one point. Oh, $350 is, wow, it's hard to believe 4.5 years into the generation. We're talking about prices jumping more than $100 for, I would say, that the tier of console that many people would be looking towards with like the Blu-ray drive and the more powerful system with the Xbox Series X. $730 though certainly jumps off the page with that 2TB. Like, I don't know why you would buy that now. It's who doesn't already have an Xbox is like, okay, I'm going to get it this holiday, and okay, I guess I'll get the 730. No, I don't think so. I think at this point, that's kind of the end of most of their SKUs in terms of getting first-time buyers on board, because the PS5 has not raised their price yet to this degree. They have raised prices. They've gone from $400 to $450 as their floor for the PS5 with that digital model. But it's not like this, guys. We're comparing this 2TB Series X to the PS5 Pro, and this 2TB still more expensive, like from the Xbox Series, which is, whew, okay. Now, looking at the Xbox accessories, those have also seen price increases, with even like the Xbox stereo headset and the wireless headset going up in price to $120 and $65 in the US specifically. But then all the other accessories also seeing price jumps, with their wireless controller base is $65 all the way up to their Xbox Wireless Controller Limited Edition at $90. We also have the Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 with all the attachments up to $200 now for that package. The games, okay, this is the one that really sticks out to me, because let's say you have an Xbox, you're like, I don't need to worry about the consoles, whatever. I'm not planning to buy another one or anything like that. The games are also going up in price, guys. They're up to $80, okay? So they say we will adjust the pricing of some of our new first-party games starting this holiday season to $79.99. This update will apply to physical and digital versions. That said, different games and expansions will continue to be offered at a variety of price points. So this one hit hard, and it should have. I mean, that is a substantial jump in terms of pricing across the board. Even the $80 price point for the game, while it's less surprising because Nintendo has already moved to Mario Kart World's $80 price tag, and we believe GTA 6 might even test $90. It's possible, maybe even $100. Although I'm still kind of thinking that's going to come in at $80, and maybe they separate the online to $20, and then that's $100. Another conversation for another day. Focusing in, though, the $80, not as surprising, but I think more impactful for pretty much everyone, right? So if you already own the console, you don't worry about that, but you worry about the game prices, okay? And that's something that wouldn't go back down. Let's say if this did have to do the tariffs, exchange rates, whatever, those can fluctuate, which means, yes, hardware prices can fluctuate. The game price at $80, that's it. Like, we're not going back. We're not, next generation, we're not going to launch and be like, oh, well, all right, it's back to 70. No, we'd be talking about going to 90 most likely, the next generation, which, looking at these prices, people are now wondering, okay, it's 2025. We've only gone up in price since the launch of these consoles from 2020. Actually, technically, your system's appreciated at this point. What's going to happen in 2027, 2 years from now, when we're talking about the next console? Like, what is Microsoft going to do there when they have a $730 console on the market? Is it an $800 system? It might be, guys. We might have an $800 launch next generation from Sony and Microsoft, because look, if this was an aggressive move for Microsoft to go up this much in general for pricing in the US, I'm wondering what Sony's going to do, because, well, Microsoft systems come from China. You see the tariffs on all these China imports to the US. What exactly is Sony going to do, since all of their PS5s mostly come from China? That's what a lot of people are wondering, and that's something I wouldn't be shocked if they do raise the price. Their PS5 Pro is $700 now. If that does go to $800, I mean, people are throwing around $1,000. I can't rule that out. And then that's going to price out a lot of people for next generation, and it does make me very concerned for the console space. Because, I mean, Sony is used to selling over 100 million systems just about every generation. Microsoft seems less worried about their consoles. The gaming industry crash has been discussed quite a bit. I do wonder if at the end of it all, it ends up being pricing getting too high for there to be a reset and we have to go backwards in terms of graphical fidelity or just budgets or something, right? There's a breaking point somewhere, and we may be approaching that with some of this pricing. Now, Game Pass has been pointed out as not going up in price. However, if you are rolling out $80 game after $80 game after $80 game and they hit their one per quarter quota like they've said, Game Pass is going to go up in price. I would estimate about $25. So it'll go up $5 per month, okay? Which people might look and think, oh, yeah, whatever. As long as they're rolling out the games, sure. But that also puts out a lot of pressure on Microsoft to roll out the games. They've been doing good this year. We've also seen years where they really haven't. So that's kind of where we are. So I would expect a price increase for Game Pass, most likely after their June showcase, when we see stuff in front of us for these games coming up, Call of Duty, maybe a Forza Horizon, Gears E-Day, and so on, then they push the price up. But wow, that was, that certainly caught a lot of people off guard, and then it also was a bit of a reality check for everyone when it comes to just pricing in general and what to expect going forward. Next up, let's talk about Nintendo with the eShop, which has been rough, to say the least, on the Switch now. The eShop is slow, and it's not great when it comes to discoverability because there is just junk and shovelware everywhere. Like, it's all over the place. Hard to just kind of navigate and browse and find something fun to play. Well, it looks like Nintendo is at least trying something here when it comes to the eShop and working on just trying to sort things out a bit better, not necessarily on how many units you sell. Now, okay, this we can see posted up. This is over on VGC. It says, following Switch's recent software update, that being the 20.0.0 update, Nintendo has changed the way the sales charts on the eShop are calculated. Now, instead of counting the number of games sold over the past 48 hours and using that to rank the charts, it instead charts revenue across the previous 72 hours, which means one of the ways that some of these shovelware games, AI created games and stuff that look real sketchy, the way that they would kind of game the system is make it $1. They discount it 95%, and because of that, they could sell 100 copies. It's like $100, but they could sell 100 copies randomly, maybe more, and all of a sudden jump into the top sales charts, maybe at like number 18 or 17 or 16, and then it will sort of snowball from there as people go, oh, why is this in the top selling chart? It's because it's $1 and it's going by the number of units sold, and then it quickly finds its way up to the top 10 or something. Seen that multiple times when you look at specifically download-only software on the eShop. In this case, it wouldn't chart because they would have collected $100. And you have a game, an indie title even, that maybe sells 4 copies at 30. There you go, it's technically above that. Now, my only issue here is it could actually rule out indie games that are priced at $15 or $20 in general of ever charting, unless they have some crazy generational Stardew Valley run, all right? Because you're going to have $60 and $70 games on the market consistently there for the Switch 2. And it's most likely going to push down a lot of these smaller indie games, which, based on where the market is now, kind of need those games for the creativity, some of the new ideas they can come up with, and that pricing structure. So I think this is a good first step for Nintendo because it shows they're at least paying attention to the eShop and like, okay, we need to figure this out going into next generation, but there's more work to be done. And I'd like to see them come up with things like an entire indie corner maybe, or other ways they can sort these releases so that good indie games can still find the top of the chart without having to sell like an exorbitant amount to overcome games that are triple their price. Next up, let's talk about Prime Gaming. It's a list of games that get added every month, and if you have Amazon Prime, you can just go in and claim these titles. Now, most of them will end up being on the PC, but hey, if you have a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or just a PC that's halfway decent at this point, you can claim them, and many of them are on GOG, so they're DRM free. There are a couple of Xbox games that I noticed here, but let's go over the list. This is posted up. This is over on GameSpot, who has a nice way to kind of sort this out. I'll leave it linked down below. But right now, available in May, we have Star Wars Galactic Battleground Saga, that's through GOG, Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, Styx Master of Shadows. We just saw a new Styx get announced. Hey, you can check out the Master of Shadows here to get started. And we also have The Invisible Hand. Available May 8th, we have Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus Digital Deluxe Edition. That is one through Xbox and PC through the Microsoft Store. Amnesia Rebirth, Hypnospace Outlaw, Doors, the Paradox. May 15th, we have Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, that's GOG code. Endless Legend Definitive Edition, Golf with Your Friends, Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, that's kind of cool. Mail Time. May 22nd, we have Fate, Thief 2, The Metal Age, Everdream Valley, Chessorama, The Lost Ashford Ring, Samurai Bringer. May 29th, we have Trinity Fusion, Master Plan Tycoon, Liberté, and then Jennifer Wilde, Unlikely Revolutionaries. These, again, are all part of Amazon Prime Gaming, and in the wake of all the price increases and stuff, I just wanted to let people know, or even remind them, that if you have Amazon Prime now, these games are just added. You can claim them and play them outright on places like GOG or even at times on your Xbox. So there you go, a fun benefit. Again, if you have Amazon Prime Gaming, don't necessarily know if I'd recommend Amazon Prime in general for just these games, but if you use it for shipping or watching, I guess, any of their streaming shows, you can also claim a bunch of games now. And then our last bit of news, let's talk about 8BitDo, who had some odd stuff happen over the course of about 24 hours on their website, and it does have to do with tariffs and shipping accessories and their controllers to the US. In fact, it seemed like they weren't going to be shipping anything at all to the US due to the tariffs, but now they've kind of changed a bit on that. Okay, we can see this posted up. This is over on Tom's Hardware, saying the third-party gaming controller and peripherals maker 8BitDo is putting a halt on shipments from its China warehouse to the US in a notice posted on its official online store. The company cited newly introduced US tariffs as the reason for the change. Now, I went to the website and checked. It was there, right? So at the top, they kind of explained this. Then throughout the day, it went away, that message, and then another message appeared, okay? And once again, this was all cataloged here well by Tom's Hardware, saying the notice now suggests that the company's warehouse in China will be shut down from the 1st of May to May 5th, 2025, due to Labor Day, and customers can expect shipments to resume starting May 6th. There's no mention of what will happen after that date, or if the impact of US tariffs will continue here with this in mind. So, this is strange because it does kind of look like originally they had that message and that was still the plan. And then these warehouses are shut down for now. We got to put that message up where the other message was. So it would be a problem if 8BitDo stopped shipping to the US because they make good overall controllers and they're great for third-party devices in general. So if you're setting up an emulation PC, the 8BitDo controllers work really, really well there. But with the tariffs in place and a lot of their stuff, yes, coming out of China, 145%, I can't imagine that makes a lot of sense for them to say, okay, we now have to sell this controller for $130 instead of $50. So, I mean, that's just kind of where we are right now with the tariffs, and at 145%, I mean, that's just an outlandish amount. So, hard to say how they overcome that outside of we have so much stockpiled in the US and we'll just go through that supply until maybe things are resolved. That's just kind of where we are right now. We're sort of in this limbo period as more and more news breaks every day that the US and China are going to be negotiating, and then they're not, then they are. So who knows what tomorrow will bring, but hopefully this gets worked out, because it seems like we're constantly hearing currently about things where companies are just not going to be bringing stuff to the US. They're halting production. They're working through their stockpile that they've brought in. And then who knows what happens when they run out. So hopefully the negotiation, all that stuff gets figured out and we can go back to a more normal time. And before we go to the comments of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, do you currently own an Xbox Series X or S console? 42% say yes, 58% say no. So to me, looking at this, Microsoft still would have a lot of work to do to continue getting new customers on board for their ecosystem through way of an Xbox console, which has pretty much been the traditional way up until this generation, it feels like, with Microsoft, where they're now pushing messages of like everything's an Xbox, basically. Before, you would go through a generation, you would drop the price of the system as technology advances, you're able to do different revisions. Most of the time, slim down the system, pull materials out of it while still being able to keep it within a certain thermal threshold. And at that point, have the price go down 30, 40, 50% at times. and just continue to onboard people throughout the generation. And then you can, of course, sell software to them. That doesn't seem to be Microsoft's plan anymore. And in fact, the raise of the pricing across the board with consoles, like heavily, $730, $600, like $550, they're not really worried about, I think, selling consoles as much anymore. I mean, they're also publishing on PlayStation. They're going to take full advantage of that Switch too. Wait until their June showcase. You're gonna see some things. So in Microsoft's mind, it's like, whatever. We're not going to deal with that as much. If people want to buy it for $730, it's there. Otherwise, hey, we'll at least produce as many as we actually need. And I don't know how many they're going to need for a 2 terabyte Xbox Series S or X at $730. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Jeff Green, who says, the Wavebird situation is a huge advancement. I need that to happen for Guitar Hero guitars on PS3. I've got 2 guitars, lost the dongles in a move. Now I have games that can't be played. Yeah, that was really annoying back then, because I feel like the 360, I know the Wii, you put the Wii remote in. The 360, I feel like the guitar just would sync up to the 360. The PS3, though, you needed a dongle, and that was really annoying. It was like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and you had them all over the place. You had your drums, you had the guitar, and is a whole thing, right? But I will say, the Guitar Hero market is absolute insanity, because you have guitars flying all over the place on eBay. Most of them don't work fully, and you have to have like repairs done to them, and it's all because there's really no good new alternative. Of course, we've seen what like Hyperkin tried to do stuff with this, and I'm sure there are going to be more and more that come back to it, because it seems like there's been discussions around it, but seeing the lengths people have to go to just to be able to make those games work anymore, it does make me wish that Microsoft would go back to it, since they own Activision Blizzard now, and make not only a new Guitar Hero game, but also guitars or instruments that would work with the new game, and then all the legacy ones as well. I just think that'd be awesome as an option, because yeah, we kind of need that Wavebird style receiver setup for Guitar Hero guitars, but again, it's pretty niche. But still, maybe just fans in general will get together like they did here with the Wavebird and figure it out. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you'll hear more of my thoughts around Microsoft jumping their prices so aggressively over pretty much all of Xbox. I'll have a video with that linked down below it. Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.